I think you'd be forgiven if your attention is slightly away from West Ham at the moment, with the national team, of course, playing in the Euro 24 final tonight against Spain. I mean, I'm sure, like me, like, I don't know, I had no confidence of us getting this far. I really didn't. The way this tournament started for England, we were so poor, and it wasn't even the fact we were poor. We just looked so leggy, so there's not there was no energy about the side, and no creativity. It looked really poor, but we just seem to have this knack of getting things over the line. Do you know what I mean? You get that feeling that England can just somehow do it. We seem a bit savvy. Do you know what I mean? A bit tournament savvy now, England. And it's really strange, the comparisons you can take from England to West Ham in obviously the year we won the Europa Conference League. It felt a bit like that. It's not like we were really special, really glamorous. Of course, there were some good matches in it, and we did put some decent performances. I'm not saying it was all like, you know, a struggle, but we just somehow just seemed to get the job done one way or another. Even if you look at the final, you know what I mean? We didn't play particularly brilliant. It wasn't the most amazing game of football, but we got the job done. And I don't know, it just gives you that hope that England have got that about them, that although they're against Spain, and let's be honest, I think it's fair to say they probably deserve it overall, because they've just been the better team. They've been the standout team the whole tournament, you know, from the first game. And it'd be kind of a bit harsh on them, really, if they weren't to go and win it. But I'll tell you what, I don't think they'll be rubbing their hands together thinking, you know, we're looking forward to playing England. I think they'll know this is a team that knows how to get the job done. And yeah, it's going to be certainly interesting, of course. And yeah, come on, England. Wouldn't it be amazing, eh? Wouldn't it be fantastic to see that happen? But, you know, there's still stuff going on with West Ham. We're expecting a big transfer update tomorrow, which we'll do as well then. This is going to sort of cover what's been going on recently, because we are expecting quite a busy week, actually, this week coming up with West Ham. John Duran being the one in particular, because basically the player himself is not wanting to talk about anything else about his future at the moment until he gets his game out of the way, his final, the Copa America final, when Colombia take on Argentina. So his focus is on that, and he doesn't want to be distracted, which is understandable. But that means then once that's concluded, then we can start ramping things up. As far as I understand it, last time I heard that it was down to the fact that the two clubs were slightly apart on valuation, which they want to get. I think that's very close now, and then just sort of getting the final bit sorted out with the player. So I actually think that deal was pretty close, actually, to being getting over the line, because it looks like West Ham is certainly the front runners for his signature. Chelsea, of course, were very keen. That seems to have cooled of late. So I think that I'm expecting something like that to happen this week, I'm going to be honest with you. But we have got some big news, actually, in regards to West Ham and Lucas Paqueta. And this is regarding Tim Steidten. Tim Steidten is now going out to Brazil. This is the 5th time he's been out there of late. So this is how I'm going to take it, all right? So we understand this is from ex-WH employee that basically Tim Steidten has gone out to Brazil for 2 reasons. The main one being Lucas Paqueta. He's going out to meet with Lucas Paqueta, right? The other one is Wesley Gassova, the 19-year-old striker from Corinthians, who we have got strong interest in. We were expecting. I think a lot of people are saying, well, because we're going for Duran, we won't be going for Gassova. I think that the cards, you know, we are still open to both these players, as far as I understand it. But I don't know how close that the Gassova one is. But I think that whilst Steidten's out in Brazil, he's going to look to try and resurrect talks there and see if we can get something over the line. I don't know, but that'll be interesting. I think it's one to sort of keep an eye on. But as I say, Steidten's out in Brazil mainly to meet with Paqueta, as far as we understand it. Now, why does he have to go to Brazil to meet Paqueta? Why does he need to go out there? Because we know he's out on holiday there. He's having a break. Obviously, he's been with Brazil playing the Copa America. They've now since been eliminated. So he's having some extra time off his family. Now, I struggle to believe, right, that Tim Steidten is spending all this money getting private jets to go to Brazil, etc., just so he can have a chat with Paqueta and make sure everything's okay and let him know that he's loved at West Ham. That's kind of the impression that I think that we're getting, that's the kind of message as far as I understand it. I might be slightly off there, but I think that's the, you know, what they're trying to suggest is what they're doing out there. I'm not sure I buy it. I'm really struggling to believe that we would go out of our way that much just to have a quick chat, make sure things are all right. Do you know what I mean? I'm not convinced, actually, that is the case. I actually think there's more to it than that. We know that Flamengo have been very interested in Paqueta, in wanting to sign him. They were talking about doing a loan deal. I mean, why West Ham would ever agree to shipping him out on loan? I mean, how would that benefit us in any way, shape or form? I don't know. So West Ham have said, no, we're not going to do that. But we know for a fact West Ham are open to selling Paqueta. They are open to selling him because, let's be honest, we don't know what's going on with this betting scandal stuff. We just don't know. It's a huge risk. West Ham are standing to lose, best part of, 100 million quid. You know what I mean? Let's give or take, can't we? Let's be honest. Bearing in mind, we're still paying his wages at the moment. We don't know if he's going to get banned anytime soon. We don't know how long the length of the ban is going to be. If he gets banned, it could be a lifetime ban, which means we'd have to terminate his contract. We then have to probably sue the player. It's got mess written all over it, the whole situation. Unless the only decent outcome would be for Paqueta to be found not guilty, he can carry on playing for West Ham, and then eventually we can look to sell him or etc. or keep him. That's the scenario that would be better for West Ham. But until that happens, there's just no certainty. And also, let's be honest, it's not ideal having this hanging over the club at the moment. It's a constant conversation. It's a constant sort of layer of doubt that we've got hanging over us. It's just a cloud. We don't like it. So I think the reality is that if West Ham can get 50 million quid, possibly even between 40 and 50 million. I reckon they'd even take 45, something like that. They might just say, look, let's just cut our losses. Yes, we're going to stand to lose 40 million quid in a deal that we could have sold him to, say, for City for more money. But let's just take the loss now and let's move on. We can draw a line and we can just get on with our business and not worry about it anymore and take the hit. I think they would do that. I really do think that West Ham would be open to doing that. Now, as far as last time we heard with Flamengo, officially they'd said, through the channels that they'd pulled out of the Paqueta race, can't afford him. They can't afford that money. They were talking about getting some sponsorships over the line to try and get the deal concluded. All these sort of things. I do find it a bit strange. I still think there's something in this, though. I think that Flamengo haven't gone away. I'm not convinced yet that they've just sort of thrown the towel in and they're not going for Paqueta. I'm not suggesting they're going to get him, but we did get word from agents in Brazil that Paqueta himself was at a birthday party, and it was for the Flamengo's coach's son, I believe, birthday, something like that, a family party, and Paqueta was there. He seems to have a lot of love and a lot of connection at the moment with this club. He was pictured there. He seems to be, there seems to be something happening there, in my opinion. And the fact that we've got Tim Steidten now going over to Brazil just to sort of schmooze Paqueta, I'm just not sold on it at the moment. Now, we had the press conference, of course, with Julian Lopetegui and Steidten, and they kind of suggested that, Paqueta's, this is his family, we're all here for him, etc., etc. And I understand. I'm glad that they said that. It was nice of them to say it, but I'm still not convinced that West Ham are desperately eager to keep hold of Paqueta. As I say, I think there's a chance that they can sell him to Flamengo. Then I think they'll go for it. I really do. I mean, obviously depending on the money. I mean, they're not going to sell him for 15, 20 million quid, are they? They're not going to bother. But I think, as I say, if they can get somewhere near 50, this is my guess on it. This is my, I'm not saying this is a concrete fact of what they would accept, but I think they would. I think it would make sense for West Ham as well if they had a club come in and offered you 50 million quid and you're thinking, well, look, because bearing in mind that's what we paid for him. Do you know what I mean? They might think, well, that's what we paid for him. Let's get the money back what we spent on him. Yes, we might lose money, but we could have sold him for City. Because let's be honest, if we sold him for Flamengo, right, and then he gets found not guilty, then people will be thinking, well, you should have kept hold of him. You could have sold him now for 100 million quid or whatever. Why didn't you hold on to him? But I think West Ham are feeling anxious about this whole betting scandal. And to be honest with you, I am as well, because it's not going away, is it? It's not. It doesn't seem to be producing any positive news. Every time we hear about it, when it comes from official lines from the FA, etc., it's not good. So I don't believe there's a lot of confidence actually in this at the moment, in that Paqueta's going to be found not guilty. So it's difficult. But yeah, so Steidten is out there at the moment. And as I say, there's two reasons for that, Paqueta and also Gassova. So West Ham can try and resurrect those conversations and see what's happening there. I mean, obviously, he's still a target, despite us being in for John Duran. Another bit of news as well, which I think we've got to look at this week, is going to be hotting up, is the right back situation. So West Ham have been in talks now, I think, for about 2 weeks with Southampton for Kyle Walker-Peters. We value the player at less than what they do, basically. So I think what Southampton are saying is that they want £15 million, £10 million plus Flynn Downs for the player. They are basically valuing Kyle Walker-Peters at £25 million. I don't think West Ham value him that highly. I think West Ham are going to shift their attention soon. I think there's certainly a frustration at West Ham that they're not able to get this moving forward. And let's be honest, West Ham are in a pretty strong position here because we're not desperate for Kyle Walker-Peters because we've got the option of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who I've got to be honest, is probably even slightly more attractive. He's younger anyway, for start. Not by much. I think Bissaka's 26, and I think Kyle Walker-Peters is 27 at the moment. So he's only a year difference, but. Obviously, he's got Premier League experience, Wan-Bissaka, and we know how good he is. I mean, there's a reason why Manchester United signed him. He was exceptional for Crystal Palace. I think he'd do well at West Ham. I really do. I think he'd be a good fit. And it makes more sense. And we get for a better rate as well. We get him for a better price. I just think that this would be a more... I can see West Ham shifting their attention because we don't desperately need, as I say, Kyle Walker-Peters. And it seems that Southampton are the ones that are very desperate because they're the ones that want Flynn down. So West Ham would actually be in a much stronger position, you feel, if we went for Wan-Bissaka and then looked to sell Downs separately, because we are trying to keep the deals separate. Because it would make sense, you'd think, that to try and combine the deals, i.e. that we get Downs going to Southampton and we bring Kyle Walker-Peters, but the valuations are so off. It just feels like I get the feeling that this Downs thing could drag on throughout the whole of the summer. Transfer window, my gut feeling says, but we'll wait and see how that plans out. But it wouldn't surprise me now if Wan-Bissaka is going to start emerging as more of the key target, because we are frustrated at the moment with the way that things are progressing with Kyle Walker-Peters, because it's just not moving forward at all. But I'm expecting there's going to be quite a ramp up on that this week, because West Ham want to start getting business done quicker. Look, we've already done pretty well so far this window, but there's evidence already to suggest that West Ham aren't hanging around, that we want to get players in quickly. We want to get them working with a new manager because we've got a new boss and we've got a new style of football, and we've got to get the players in to start working together quickly. We haven't got time to be messing around too much, and especially now that the Euros is about to wrap up along with Copa America, things are going to really progress. So this is going to be a busy week. So tomorrow's update from XWH employee on Patreon is expected to be quite interesting, actually. So we'll keep an eye out for that. The other one bit of news is our defensive line as well, which is Naya for Gerd, the sale of him, which doesn't, just let's be honest, it just isn't moving forward. As far as I can see at the moment, there's no big interest elsewhere. We're not seeing any bids. We're not seeing much. I know we've got Marseille that are quite keen, but again, this is all we keep hearing. It's just quite keen. This is really turning to be quite frustrating, this whole situation with Gerd, because we want to move him on. He's not happy at the club. I don't think West Ham are particularly happy with him, to be honest, with certain things happened last season. And this was just his availability. He wanted to stay available for his national side, so he was effectively refusing to play for West Ham. So it's not gone down very well, of course. So West Ham want to get rid. But we're struggling. We know we want to try and recoup what we spent money on him, which is about 30 million quid, 35 million. I don't think we're going to get that, to be honest, because there's clubs not clamouring, are they, to get to him? So we're struggling at the moment, and this is having a knock-on effect with West Ham, because we want Debo, Jean-Claude to beat Debo, to get that deal done, and we are struggling at the moment because, as I say, that's going to depend on what we can do with Vergerd, whether we can sell him. We're trying to offload Kurt Zuma as well. Again, this very much a similar to a Gerd, where we're just not getting many buyers at the moment. So look, it's still early in the window. There's still a way to go. So that could well change. But I think there's a bit of frustration here. We could end up keeping both Gerd and Zuma, but my gut says that Gerd will go. I think players that will happen eventually, but I think we want to sort of hope that sort of picks up a little bit so we can start getting our business done. So Debo is certainly still a target for West Ham. I do think that will be resurrected quite quickly should we get a Gerd sale done. Zuma as well, I think they're going to try and get rid as well, but it's going to be quite difficult with his injury situation. It might well be. We're hoping that a Saudi club comes in for him, because we do know they have shown quite significant interest in recent months. But that's it really for West Ham at the moment. We're obviously we're expecting a big week ahead. John Duran is the one that I think is going to really ramp up. I'm expecting that to happen this week, to be honest. It's my gut feeling. I think something will materialise out of that. We know that the striker position is a real priority and they want to get done. And as I say, the right back situation with Kyle Walker-Peters, I can see West Ham now shifting their attention to Wan-Bissaka. I really do, because we're becoming very frustrated there. And when it comes to Paqueta, I mean, who knows with this, because it feels like a real question mark hanging over the club at the moment, and with him, and we don't know what's going on. So, but the fact that Steidten's out in Brazil, I think, says a lot. And the fact that Paqueta is socialising a fair bit with Flamengo, I don't think they've gone away just yet. But look, regarding West Ham, we're expecting that tomorrow, and some big updates from X. But until then, it's all about England. Come on, the boys, let's do it. Let's bring it home.